Hey guys, it's Faddington Addy here. It's currently 7:30 in the morning, as per usual, the 7:20 to 7:30 grind. Not quite David Goggins or those other guys, those other fellows who wake up with the fucking ass crack of dawn to get their morning workouts in, but you know what? I'm happy with how early I wake up, mostly because I don't get to go to sleep until around 11 to midnight. So, fuck running on like 4 hours of sleep. Sleep is very important. But, so I got quite a few things to do this morning before I can actually go hit the Iron Temple. It is what it is, We got responsibilities, we're adults. Or at least I am. I don't know if you are. But, gotta go do some things, and I'm probably not gonna get to the gym until like around 10:40-ish, or between 10:40 and 10:45, which, not a bad time. Not a bad time. There shouldn't be a whole hell of a lot of people. I feel, or it seems like there's a mighty amount of people in the gym, at least in my gym. There's a lot of people between like 7 and 9, and then like from 9 to like 10:30, there's like not a lot of people, and then there's like a medium amount of people. And the people who like come in super early are all old people. Or just like people who just are doing kind of like a general daily thing, just to kind of get a little something in, I suppose, before they get their day actually started. But so today for me, lower body day. A mighty lower body day. As per usual, we'll be sticking to the same exercises for now. Maybe eventually I'll switch it up. I've been watching various gym fellows, bodybuilders videos. You'll never guess who one of them is. You'll know. But I've been watching a few of these guys, and I've just been seeing them doing a lot more like varied leg exercises, and just talking about varied leg exercises, what they can do for you. And I'm like, hey, why don't I do some of this stuff? Just kind of switch it up a bit, as I've always heard, it's never a bad idea to switch it up. Because right now, my lower body routine consists of me doing squat press, which I want to keep in, squat presses, seated calf raises, that thing I want to keep in, leg extensions, seated hamstring curls, hip adduction and hip abduction, and then crunches. So I do want to keep all that stuff in, quite frankly. So I don't know if I'd switch that stuff around, but I might add shit. I might add a thing or two. In my case, I said before, I feel like I am very much so, kind of in the beginner stages of the knowledge needed for weightlifting and stuff of that sort, as well as the experience. I may have been doing this kind of on and off-ish for about a year to 2 years. However, I'm definitely no expert in this stuff, and I only know what I know, and what I know is what I know. So, me spending 2 hours in the gym trying to do a body recomp, isn't the worst thing in the world. There'd be plenty of people who tell you, you probably should spend less time in the gym. And there is definitely truth to that, especially if you're just a straight up beginner trying to raw dog it, going ham. Like, my body can handle it. My body can handle going to the gym and staying, like, doing a lot of like heavy shit and like a lot of intense shit for about 2-ish hours. Intense for me. I'm sure if you gave my workout routine to someone who is a lot more athletic or more adept at bodybuilding or and stuff like that, and strength training, you give my shit to Brian Shaw, he like that is a warm up to a guy like that, I would imagine. Sam Sulek, same type of thing. Noel Diesel, that young kid Tristan, I forgot his last name. Like those guys, my shit would be a warm up compared to what they can do. But that's not the point, you shouldn't compare yourself, and that's, I think, another important thing to kind of keep in mind, especially when you're starting out as a beginner. It's easy to compare yourself to all these people you see on Instagram and whatnot, but you're starting out your fitness journey. You're starting, right? and you be comparing yourself to people who've been doing it for fucking years, right? And in some cases, decades even, right? You know, Chris Bumstead, I don't know if he's been doing it for a decade. I'd imagine he's been doing it for a decade long. I'd have to look at how long he's been doing this stuff. You know, Ronnie Coleman, Arnold Schwarzenegger, guys like that, you know, and then you have people who've been doing it for years, you know, Sam Sulek, or even decades, I don't know. Noel Diesel, you know, all these people who've been doing it for an extremely long time, and you're just starting, and you're like, damn, you know, I should be able to be in the gym for like 2-3 hours or whatever, or like, you know, people like Brian Shaw, Eddie Hall, Ryan Oberst, like guys like that, you know, these people who have, you know, they're well past the beginner stages, and you're, you know, one of the pitfalls is you compare yourself to them. You go into the gym, you try to stay as long and do similar shit to them, and in some cases, some people get ego, the whole ego lifting thing. They get an ego about it, and they try to lift as much or very close to those guys because they're like, well, if they can do it, I can do it. And then they end up overworking themselves and getting, you know, sick. That's what happened to me when I first got back into the gym, and I'm not even talking like I was using anyone else's like routine or like their weights or anything. All I was doing, I was using, because I went to the gym for about the first 3 months of the year, and that's when life got in the way, and I had a 6-month rest, a 6-month, like just me not going to the gym. Sabbatical. Yeah, 6-month sabbatical. So then I go back to the gym, and I'm like, all right, so I should be able to do what I did before. Which, you know, there's some appropriate logic that applies, but I went too hard with it. I jumped into the deep end, and then I ended up getting very sick as a result of it. I had like heat exhaustion, and then funny enough, like I caught something then as well. I think I caught a flu or something. And even right now, I do sound a little stopped up because of my allergies, but it's fine. But yeah, you know, it's very easy to compare yourself. Very easy to kind of get in your head about like what you should be doing in the gym and stuff like that. And you know, not every exercise is going to be for you, especially in the beginning. You know, and like another thing to understand is just because the exercise isn't right for you now doesn't mean you can't put it to a position where it will become right for you. A good example is like deadlifting, right? Not everybody can just go into the gym and just start deadlifting right off the rip and expect to have a really good form and like, you know, really enjoy deadlifting. Sometimes it's just not for everyone, like myself. Like I don't really like deadlifting. I've done hex bar deadlifts and stuff like that as a preparation measure for doing actual deadlifts. And I imagine you could start off doing like lightweight stuff and just trying to do normal or even a little bit of sumo deadlifts, but still, you know, it may not be the best, it may not feel like the right thing for you at the time, but the more you do it, the more you prep yourself, it will become the right thing. And in some instances, the exercise is just straight up ain't the right thing for you. You know, there's like, as much as squats have benefits, and I do want to get better at squats, I don't like squats. And I think that may be true for a lot of people. Like they just do it because they know it's good for you. But yeah, I don't like squats. When I used to work at home, I used to do Bulgarian split squats, and I think that might have something to do with it. But I'm talking like, you know, just straight up going to a squat rack and just going down low. It might be because of how big I am, as I'm like chunky and stuff of that sort. Like it's just, I don't know. It's one of those things where I want to work on it, and I know I like probably should because it does work a lot of things. There's like, you know, alternate methods to do that. But the thing that kind of scared me is like if I'm doing anything that involves any kind of like the back, you know, the lower extenders, being involved in stuff is when I did a 405-pound deadlift, so a hex bar deadlift. I managed to pull that sucker off, but then my lower back extenders were fucking crying, screaming in pain even. So, you know, that kind of put me off from doing any like squats and deadlifts and stuff of that sort. When really, I went too hard too quick. And I do that, I tend to do that I find, you know, I'll get ahead of myself because I think I should be able to do that, or I want to test how much I can do, and then I end up doing too much and hurting myself, or I end up doing too much and I just can't do it, and I get a little discouraged. So, excuse me. So I find myself doing that a lot. It's a really bad habit that I got to kick. And if any of you have a habit like that, I would suggest kicking that too, because it's super easy to get into that mindset. And I say it's especially easy to get into that mindset when you used to lift weights. And this is why I have this mindset, I believe. Because like when I first started, I didn't have this mindset. I didn't try to pick up the 60s immediately. I like did a progressive overload and got to a point where I could reasonably curl 60s for at least one set of 10. But when I got into the gym, I was like, well, I should be able to do that now. No. The answer was no. I had to start from 30, and then realistically I could have started from 40 or 45 and gassed myself out with like one set of 10, maybe even two sets of 10. But I had to start at 30, get comfortable with that, then move up to 35, incorporate that in there, and then get very comfortable doing that. I'm talking like 10 sets of 10 reps. And then going from there. Now, at the time of me doing that, I was doing a lot more concentration curls. I think I was doing like a total of 200 concentration curls at the time, 100 on each arm. So, you know, it was a lot more intense than it is now. I've dialed it back to where I'm doing higher weights, and I'm trying to gas my biceps out quicker. Not to the point where I won't be able to do any other compound exercises, but just to a good point where I feel reasonably worked. And even now, I feel like I am lacking a little bit in terms of the intensity of my biceps. I feel like I could probably do a lot more reps than I am. I used to be able to do a lot more reps than I am. So I have to see about that, see what I can do with that. But, you know, yeah. So, anywho, just wanted to give a little bit of advice about that, you know, and talk a little bit about like, you know, egos and expectations, and seeing your favorite Instagram fitness or TikTok fitness influencers or YouTube fitness influencers do their stuff, and then thinking that you should be able to do something similar. The answer is always no, because even if you're an intermediate, you know, you're comparing yourself to someone who's been doing it for a very, very long time, and who has gotten to the point where they can, who has worked a very long time to get to the point to be able to do what they're doing, right? And to think that you'd be able to just come in and be like, well, I'm built different, you know, very silly. But anyway, the next time I see you guys, I'm going to be at the gym, and we're going to be starting off with squat presses, 10 sets of 10 reps. In total, but we will be starting with 725 pounds again. We'll try to squeak out as many reps as possible. Last time we got three, and my legs feel sufficiently rested. My quads aren't burning anymore. They were burning yesterday, but they're completely fine today. It feels like no problem there. Same thing with my calves. My calves have just a tiny bit of soreness, but that's all right. Nothing to write home about. So hopefully we'll be able to go hard today as well. And I'll see you at the gym. So we just got to the gym, got the squat press loaded up, 8 plates of 45s on each side, and 1 2.5 on each side. So again, 725 pounds. Last time we managed to squeak out 3 reps on this thing. Hopefully we'll be able to squeak out some more today. So let's see how this goes. just finished the squat press. Managed to get 6 reps off of 725 pounds. Then managed to do 10 reps at 630, 10 reps at 540, 3 reps, or 3 sets. I've been saying reps, I meant to say sets. 3 sets out of 450, and then 2 sets of 450, then 3 sets of 360, and 3 sets of 270. So we managed to get a bit more endurance as far as the weights are concerned on the squat press. Now we're moved on to the seated calf. Once again, we got 6 sets of 10 reps at 230 pounds. Then we'll go down to 190 for the last 4 if we can't do any more, or we may have to switch in the middle a little bit. Now let's get this started. So we just finished up the seated calf raises. Man, my calves were about finished after that whole thing. They were like screaming, and then when I went down to the drop of at 190, it was a lot easier. But then I started feeling the burn again. But we're now on to leg extensions. My biggest arch nemesis, and we're gonna try 80 pounds today. See how that does us. 10 sets of 10, yet again, at 80 pounds. Let's see how this goes. We just finished the leg extensions. My quads feel fully turned to dust. Now we gotta do the hamstring curls, which I have less of a hate relationship for. I actually kind of like hamstring curls to a degree. Not to say that they're easy, but similar type of thing as the leg extensions, just on a different end. 10 sets of 10 reps, 80 pounds this time instead of 75. So we'll see how we do on this one. the seated hamstring curls, leg curls, and now we're on to the hip abduction machine to make our ass more powerful. So 10 sets of 10 at 120 pounds, and well, let's get this ass blasting exercise over with. Now we're onto the hip adduction machine. After blasting my ass on the hip abduction machine and successfully turning my butt cheeks into fucking jello, now I gotta turn my groin into liquid shit too. So 10 sets of 10 reps at 160 pounds. So here we go. So I'm in the middle of my hip adductions, and I think I've been doing them wrong because I've been pushing my hands against my thigh, and that's been helping. It seems like it's been kind of cheating my hip adductions, and I never realized that until I put my hands on the handles, and I tried to do it then, and it was a lot harder. I also feel like, you know, I have to find a good starting position or something. I might need to look at videos of people doing it. Because I don't remember, because I remember being shown how to do it, but I don't. It's been a while, and I feel like I've been messing it up. So My groin has definitely been worked regardless, but I feel like I need to isolate it more and get it much more down packed, because the way I'm doing it right now is no good. So I gotta fix that up. The other thing I will mention is after this, 5 more sets, and then after this, I'm gonna do the core, the crunch stuff at I think 70 pounds, 75 pounds. I'm gonna do that for a little bit, for about 10 sets of 10, then finish off with 15 minutes of cardio. The next time I'll be recording another video will be in the car, and I'll see you guys then. I'll be talking to you guys then. So I'm gonna finish up this exercise and see you in just a second. So I just got out of the gym and have some time before I have to really be anywhere. And while I was in the shower, and while I was also getting undressed to prepare for the shower and dressed, I was thinking about some things while I was working out in between sets. Not in between sets, but I only record 5 sets. The main reason, the number one reason, is because I don't want to take up all the storage space on my phone. And the second reason is because I like to listen to YouTube videos while I'm working out and stuff like that. And one of them, I just decided to click on was Greg Doucette talking about Sam Sulek's diet and stuff. And that kind of opened up a bit of a can of worms for me, because it made me realize something. I've been kind of going about my diet the wrong way. With that, I mean, I've been staying within my calorie range. That's not an issue. I'm pretty sure the common conception is that, calories in, calories out, you will lose weight so long as you are doing the right thing with that. However, being healthy, and I believe building muscle as well, having a more specific diet will be a huge impactful thing. You look at people like Chris Bumstead, 4-time Mr. Olympia. He talks about this stuff, and I saw that in Greg's video, and then I looked a little into it myself. But a lot of people would watch a video like Sam's, and most people are not like huge people. They're not really big bodybuilders or anything like that. They're people who are mildly interested in the gym, or who are interested in going, or who are already going but are just trying to find information, stuff like that. They're those kind of people who are going to be the primary audience for something like that. And him eating the way he does and then promoting it, I feel, has some ramifications for people like myself, right? I'm a big guy, not big muscly. I'm a fat fuck. So people like me, and probably even skinny people, would see stuff like that and think, hey, it's cool to eat all this stuff. What, here's Sam, he's doing it, but Sam is young enough, and he works hard, he trains his fucking balls off, and he also uses, at least from what I've heard, and I think, I don't know if he denies it, but apparently he uses steroids as well, which I think is a pretty common understanding, right? So, those two factors kind of help promote him and what he's doing and allow him to eat this kind of diet, but he's just straight up not sustainable. And the biggest issue, like I said, the people like me who are watching it, they see this stuff and they see him, and a lot of the times, and it's no fault of Sam in this instance, but a lot of the times people like me will not make the connection that Sam is only able to eat that way because of those 3 factors, and that someone like me cannot do that. I cannot eat the shit that he did. In that one video, he fucking chugged a whole half gallon of chocolate milk. Impressive, very impressive. We love chalky milk, but when you're fat like me, seeing stuff like that, it can kind of trick me, and I can kind of trick myself, and I kind of gaslight myself into thinking that I can do stuff like that so long as I work out enough. And in my case, an average workout is going to burn anywhere between 2,000 and 2,500 calories, right? My goal is both weight loss and muscle gain, so body recomp. So, however, later down the line, as you get older, this stuff will come bite you in the ass. That, and there's probably a lot of bigger people who are not people who are either my size or as fat as I am or fatter. They're either working out as hard or not as hard as I am. Not to say I work out very hard. My stuff is just very focused on weight loss, right? But, you know, like, I'm trying to work out as much as I can to facilitate that. So these people, you know, they'll see stuff like that and they'll think it's cool. You know, they're like, oh, well, I can go eat a pint of Ben & Jerry's, you know, an 1,100, 1,300 calorie ice cream pint. You know, I can afford to do that, you know. And the macros aren't too bad on that. You know, I can just eat this other stuff to kind of offset it. And then it becomes a snowball and you're like, oh shit, I went over my calories for the day. Fuck, you know, that kind of thing. So, you know, like I said, I was watching the video and it just kind of like clicked something in me, because I very much so, since I started going back to the gym recently, I've had that mindset. I've had that mindset of, I have worked out this much so I can afford to have a milkshake, you know, pretty often. And the reality of it is, even though calorie-wise I can probably swing it, that doesn't mean I should. You know, I should very much so try to focus on very nutritional type of foods, you know, various veggies, various meats and stuff like that, that'll help facilitate everything else in my body to operate as it should, as well as facilitate hitting my macro goals, which in my case is 50% carbs, 30% protein, and 20% fats, and my micronutrient goals and stuff of that sort. So it was just one of those things where, like, it just kind of clicked. I was like, man, I've been gaslighting myself this whole time, thinking that I can just get away with eating this stuff. But, you know, here's these people who know what the hell they're talking about, quite frankly, and especially more than me. I'm just a beginner, like I said, just very, very much so a beginner. And these guys, you know, they're seasoned. They're properly seasoned. You know, like a beautiful fine dining steak. They are properly seasoned. They know what the fuck they're talking about. So, you know, for the people out there who are like myself, you know, don't let yourself see these bodybuilders and these other people, you know, don't let yourself find, like, you know, people like Brendan Shaw, Eddie Hall, Ryan Oberst, and strongmen, which I like looking at strongmen videos, and I see the crazy shit they fucking down. And people like Sam Sulek, you know, he's downing all the shit that he downs. You know, don't look at these videos and think that, you know, just because they got away with it, you can get away with it too, especially if you're a fat person, right? If you're a fat person of any size, you know, even if you're only like 30 pounds overweight, if you're 100 pounds, 200 pounds overweight, however much, doesn't matter. Don't go into losing weight and trying to bodybuild and trying to become healthier, you know, with your diet and everything, thinking that you can eat the kind of shit that these people do. And just because they do it doesn't mean you should either. You know, when I got down to my lowest of 230, that was because just about every fucking day I was eating some kind of meal prep that I, you know, got from Stealth Health Life off of Instagram and things of that sort. You know, macro-friendly, low-calorie, and satiary recipes, and I would make that stuff all the time. These days, you know, I'm going out a lot. I'm out, quite frankly, majority of my days spent out of the house. You know, that's just the reality of it for me. And as a result, you know, I tend to go places and get stuff. Now, mind you, I do try to be very conscious of what I'm getting. You know, if I go, like, say if I went to Wawa, you know, an East Coast convenience store. I don't know if they've gone to middle of the country or even West Coast, but if I go to Wawa, you know, chances are I'm going to try to get a chicken-based thing. Sometimes I'm a bad boy and I'll get like a chicken cheesesteak, which I really shouldn't. But I'm gonna stop trying to do that from now on. Like their little wraps, their chicken wraps, you know, a spicy Chipotle chicken wrap that they have. It's not awful, like, as far as like everything it has. Then getting like Quest protein chips, and then maybe a Fairlife protein shake type of thing, and then, you know, going off of that type of stuff, and then you know, as far as like meal preps was concerned, what I was doing is mostly like pasta based stuff with lots of chicken thighs, boneless, skinless chicken thighs. So for me, you know, recording all this stuff and trying to be very open about me being able to be wrong and not knowing what the fuck I'm talking about, I think is very beneficial, because it's having me self-reflect and having me be introspective to try to figure out, you know, what can I be doing better to hit the goals that I'm doing. And right now, my diet is probably something that could use a lot of work. Other than my training, because you guys haven't seen what I eat, because I don't record what I eat. Mostly because, as I said, I'm out all the fucking time, so I just grab whatever, I just try to make sure that it has some form of a decent amount of protein and isn't like super high in calories, but is satiary. So it's been helping me, like, other than the training itself, it's been helping me figure out, hey, my diet is also something that needs to work, not just my fucking training. Because I thought my diet would be fine. I really did. But it turns out that it could use quite a bit of work to figure it out fully. And I feel that is a very important step, at least for me. Just that self-actualization, or getting to the point of being in a position to have self-actualization, of performing the things that need fixing. So, and other than that, the things I say, I may not say correct information all the time, and who knows, next week or the day after, or like a few days after, I may come back and be like, hey, I was wrong about something. One thing I would like to mention that I was pretty wrong about was, I believe in my last, either my last video or the last two videos ago, I said something about testosterone, or not testosterone, steroids, having an effect of bringing your testosterone levels down to like that of a 12-year-old girl, right? And the only reason why I believe that is because I had a friend who most of the stuff he says isn't wrong, and occasionally it will be, but I never went behind him and checked, and I like believed what he had said fully, and then I check, and come to find out, there is a recovery bit of like what, 4 to 6 weeks, I believe it was. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's an X amount of time to where you can get back to where you were as far as the testosterone production was concerned. I mean, obviously everything else as far as the liver, heart, and etc., and depression and stuff, that is long-term and potentially permanent effects. So that stuff still kind of holds true. I don't think I mentioned the depression or even the liver stuff, just the heart stuff. But the testosterone production, I was very much so wrong about. And, just information like that. I mean, even though I'm never going to be using that type of stuff, it doesn't matter, because, even though I may have a small channel, right, it's important. And even if I wasn't someone who is doing any kind of YouTube or Instagram or whatever, it's important, just even amongst your friend group, to try to do your best. And even though we love to do a little bit of trolling, with the whole spreading misinformation thing, I think you should do your due diligence to try your best to get as much accurate information as possible. And that may be difficult, and sometimes it's difficult to admit you're wrong, and get that ego out of it. But especially with something like weight loss and bodybuilding, I believe it is very pertinent. Because you can be harming, even if it's just one person, you can harm someone's progress or ability to do either of those things, lose weight or bodybuild, by feeding them the wrong information. And not to say that they aren't also someone who should go off and check behind you if you were to give them the wrong information. But it's still something to consider, because if a good friend of yours comes up to you and says something that sounds just about right, chances are you're just going to take their word for it. At least that's how I am. Sometimes I'll just take their word for it, not give a shit, and I can do better about that, but I think it's also important that the person who's giving the information should also be a little bit more diligent in their research, and making sure that they're not just telling Joe Blow, telling Austin, right, telling Fatty to Natty that he can have fucking 2 dozen Krispy Kreme donuts because he worked out a lot today. Like, I can go fucking down some glazed donuts, or the jack-o'-lantern, the chocolate vampire, I can't go down that shit. I really can't. So yeah, you can end up hurting people with this type of stuff as a result of misinformation. And they may not necessarily get mad at you, but just know and be a little bit mindful about that, because yeah, like I said, it can just hinder. It can hinder people like me. So that's no good. That's no good. So anyway, I guess today's lesson, as far as I'm concerned, is just try to admit when you're wrong and do better about the information you're getting, the information you're spreading, as well as breaking down your own preconceived notions and trying to be self-aware enough and like trying to like figure out if you've been like lying to yourself, like I have been with the whole diet thing, and just trying to correct that, right? And same thing with training, you know, in my case, have I been honest with myself? Have I been fully accurate? And until I started recording these videos, quite frankly, I haven't been. You know, I was just like, yeah, this is good enough. I could do this, that, or the other. And now that I'm putting myself out there for however many people to see, even if it's 20 people or 20 million, doesn't really fucking matter. The important part is that I'm learning and growing from this, and that, you know, it helps my fitness journey. You know, it helps my fitness journey get on the right track, you know, because Lord knows the psychological battle, especially for us fatties, the psychological battle that we have to endure to not gaslight ourselves, to be able to try to justify the junk that we can eat. It can be difficult sometimes, I think. And it's very easy to just find yourself in a position where you don't even realize that you're just fucking stuffing your fat fucking face until like you're actually tracking your calories, or until you know that you probably shouldn't do that. Even if you do have the calories to spend, you probably shouldn't just eat junk. So anyway, thanks for watching, and now we're going to be moving on to the stat screen.